Hey listeners, it's Paul Andriola here. Why not join our community at Small Cap Discoveries, where we offer our members direct access to some of the best microcap investment opportunities available. Our members are getting access to premium microcap financings, research reports, and direct access to management. Sign up today at www.smallcapdiscoveries.com.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Small Cap Discoveries conference call. Today in our call, we have CEO Harris Liontas and VP of Sales and Marketing Diana Cantu of Novra Technologies. Novra trades on the TSX Venture under the symbol NVI and on the OTC under NVRVF. The company is trading at 14 cents with roughly 35 million shares outstanding, or about a $5 million market cap. I'd now like to hand it over to Paul Andriola.
Hey, thank you, Trevor. Yeah, we love to find these great little companies with the kind of market cap that Novra has. So we're happy to have both Harris and Diana here. Why don't we just jump right in? Harris and Diana, you've got a presentation. Why don't we start with your presentation, and we're happy to ask some questions later on.
I'd like to first of all thank you, Paul and Trevor, for giving us the opportunity. I hope we, over the next 45 minutes to an hour, I hope with Diana and I, we can answer the questions and do a good job in letting people know who we are, because we've been around for a long time, but we've been extremely quiet as we're building our business and doing some acquisitions. So again, thank you, and I'll let Diana start. Diana is going to give us a presentation on a high level, and then, I will jump in later, and Diana and I will add more color after the presentation. So again, thank you for the opportunity, okay?
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Harris, and thanks, gentlemen. Got to have forward-looking statements. So this is our forward-looking statements, boilerplate, but we will be talking about our vision for the future. And obviously there's some caveats that go along with it. Introducing ourselves and trying to give the elevator pitch. Novra is a longtime leader in technology for advanced applications. We're not a consumer, we're not commercial consumer type application. What we do is we provide products, systems, and service for point to multi-point distribution of data via satellite and IP networks. So I'm trying to locate it because there's a lot of people out there providing solutions and networks, et cetera. And I want you to understand exactly the niche where we are. It's a small niche, but it's a mighty niche. Novra Group is made up of 3 companies. Novra Technologies is the lead company, founded in 2001 by a group of serial tech entrepreneurs, including Harris Liontas. That core team has experience with 4 successful startups, and their focus is on long-term sustainability, taking technology and transforming it into products that have a long-term business sustainability. The company's been a leader in data distribution, particularly in the markets of weather, digital signage, and IPTV, and is based in Winnipeg, Canada, is headquartered in Winnipeg, Canada. So that was the original company for Novra. International Datacasting was founded in 1984, very early leader in digital broadcast technology, specifically DVB IP technology. It's applications oriented and strong in broadcast radio and video, as well as digital cinema and IPTV, and a very global international business. IDC, it's called, was acquired by Novra in 2016, and that started the Novra Group. IDC is based in Ottawa, Canada. As I go through these, I hope you see some of the synergies too. Wegner was founded in 1978, again, audio products and also for the cable television and emerging satellite industries. They are also in video, audio, digital signage, and IP networks. So nice intersections with Novra and International Datacasting. It was acquired, the majority interest of Wegner was acquired in 2017 as part of growing the Novra Group into being a family of companies. And Wegner's based in Atlanta in the US. So this gives us a broad range of experience, a broad range of capabilities, and also some geographical spread through both our international partner network, but also being in Canada and in the US. Giving you just a high level at a glance business, look at our business. We're 3 locations. We consider ourselves one company, and we are completely integrated and work together as one company. We've got customers on every continent and hundreds, in more than 100 countries. We've got decades of experience between the 3 companies and also the teams at the 3 companies. We have a lot of wealth of knowledge, of experience, technology, leadership experience. We've got great long-term client relationships. Ours is a business with very large customers, very small customers, and everything in between. But we're proud to have some significant long-term relationships over decades with some important customers that help give us a good base for business, but also for keeping our technology fresh and relevant as the technology evolves. We're about 40 employees right now, and our Q1 revenue was 3.7 million with a net income of 1.1 million. We're pretty pleased with that coming out of the pandemic. That's a nice way to start our year and gives you a sense of our scale and scope. Looking at the company at a glance, we're profitable. And we have a very strong commitment to R&D reinvestment. So we take what we make and we plow it right back into R&D to continue to try to grow and expand the company. We've got a strong cash position. And as was mentioned up front, we're traded on the Toronto Venture Exchange and also now in the US on the OTCQB Venture Exchange. So just a little bit more about our business and what we mean when we say these things. So we are global leaders in our market space, and we are known for having a track record of innovation and reliability. This isn't just motherhood statements. These are very high-end applications, broadcast applications where businesses are built 100% on that technology. You cannot have in broadcast, you cannot have a black screen, you cannot have a dead screen, you cannot go offline. We're involved in a lot of mission critical delivery that has to work, period. So what do we actually do? We make products, we make systems, and we provide service. So when we do products, we design and implement, we design and implement them from the ground up. So we design our own products and manufacture them. We will also sometimes partner with third parties to put together a customized version of a product. And we will also sometimes integrate third-party products into a turnkey system for adding some kind of particular specialized feature. So we put these together, install them and make them work. And then we also provide services. The services range from custom engineering. We will do engineering on request for hire. We do network lifecycle support. That's where we provide preventative maintenance and training and proactive maintenance, as well as supporting networks, and then manage networks for recurring revenue. In the past, this has included customers like the Canadian government broadcasting television and radio content to Canadian forces deployed around the world. We managed that system and ran it for many years, pre-Netflix, when that was delivered over satellite, and up to today where we are doing disaster recovery and backup services for some of our customers in the latest broadcast technologies. We're diversified. We seek to keep that diversification because all of these markets that we're in, these specialized markets, go through cycles. They ebb and they flow. When you do major infrastructure projects, they tend to be, somewhere between kind of 5 and 6 to 10 and 15 years. And it's a lumpy business. We also are involved in vertical markets that go through ebbs and flows and surges. So by being in multiple vertical markets that are parallel, they have things in common. We're not spread too thin, but by being able to be spread out a little bit, it protects us and shelters us from some of the vicissitudes of the market. And it also gives us the ability of having a combination of product and service-based revenue. And then finally, we're customer centric. Again, this is the kind of thing that is often thrown out as a motherhood statement, but in our case, we're always just a couple of steps ahead of the industry. And part of the way we do that is having close communications and relationships with our customers. A lot of our business is customer driven. So we can identify trends, we can identify challenges, and then we have the tools and we have the skill sets and the people to help those customers who are trying to always push the envelope to do more with their networks. We serve as the technology partners to make that possible. Again, these are realities that all of us on this call have lived with, where you know your first laptop, what the disk size was and the power was and the RAM, you know what your first phone was capable of, and you look at what you have now, and it's, we're always looking to do a bit better, and that's even more so in the professional realm. I'm going to talk about our vertical markets. I can talk a lot about our vertical markets, so I will try to keep this brief and focused, and please feel free to ask any more questions in the discussion. As I said, our approach is we're in the business of moving data point to multi-point. So it's broadcasting data. And historically, over the last 25 years, the best way to do that has been over satellite. The internet has been emerging more and more as a distribution platform, but the internet is a series of point-to-point connections. The internet is not a good broadcast. It is not a good broadcast medium. It is inefficient and unreliable, and the timing isn't right, etc. So satellite is very well known, very well understood. Can we mute whoever that is? I think it's a Steven somebody. Thanks. So satellite is really suitable for distributing to a lot of sites, distributing large amounts of data, or distributing to areas that are remote or distance or have underdeveloped infrastructure, et cetera. There's a profile for satellite. Then within that, there are particular vertical markets. Broadcast is obviously a huge one for us, broadcast radio and television. So what we do is we make the infrastructure for distribution of radio networks and television networks. And now when I say that, that's everything from small, medium to large. It incorporates things that have special features like live, which is obvious, that's just broadcasting live signals, real time. Also store and forward, that's where you send out content as files in order to be inserted remotely based on targeted advertising, for example, regionalization, blackouts, blocking. And then systems that are simple to complex. So things that can have, again, just very dead simple requirements, just make this show up on a screen, to we need to block content from here and here and here, and it needs to be encrypted. So we play in all of these spaces. The applications, it ranges from just commercial broadcast networks, national networks. We do a lot of national networks and state networks around the world. We're very good at having the relationships in place to be able to win and support those kinds of projects. Religious broadcasting, which is a huge, I don't even think it's fair to call it a niche, because it is a major, religious networks are major players in the broadcast space. And then specialty channels. So that can mean anything from a military channel to a digital signage in-store training channel, etc. So there's a lot of examples of this. We're very proud of our customers. We have some of the largest radio networks in the world as our customers, broadcast radio network in North America as our customers. We have some very important and significant multi-continental networks. So one of the world's largest Catholic radio networks, for example, which is in every continent of the world, and one of the US government's international communications networks, I'll call it. You could call it propaganda, you know, the international facing broadcast networks is our customer. So we're very proud of the networks and the relationships that we've had. And this is an important bread and butter core component of our business. Other vertical markets, which we love equally and are very important to us, digital cinema, digital signage, and then data, which I'm going to use as a catch-all for a bunch of things. Data, what we call our data vertical market, includes distribution of weather data, defense data, IPTV. So that is video, but it's video as files. So we deliver to, we'll deliver to a building or deliver to some kind of a plant in a infrastructure, a remote point, and then it will be forwarded on to set-top box devices. We've done major networks of IPTV. We have an ongoing customer, one of our longest and best customers. It's, Harris, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's 35,000 MDUs, multi-dwelling units, 35,000 apartment blocks in Japan.
That is correct. That is in Japan.
Yeah, yeah. So they bring into the building and then distribute out around the building the television signals. So as IPTV, so this is different from, you know, a cable plant or different from broadcast television. So
can I add, just for a little bit, this client, this is a Japanese client, a huge client, been with us and been buying these products since 2005. And all of us, Japan is a very difficult market. I mean, they have their own way of dealing with suppliers, you know, and having Japan, a large Japanese, a very large Japanese satellite provider, buy from a small company like us over the last 15 years for, and running a network of 37,000 or over 37,000 apartment buildings, not apartments, but the buildings. It shows you something, because here's a small company in North America selling to a huge conglomerate in Japan, IPTV technology. That is interesting, just to think about it for a minute. IPTV, the Japanese are buying it from Canada for this application. And they've been buying it for 15 years, including every day, every year. I shouldn't say every day, but every year. That's very important. That indicates our prowess in our ability to deliver reliability. And some of this equipment that we have delivered in 2005 are still in operation today.
Yeah.
But anyway, sorry for the interruption, Diana.
No, it's an excellent point, and because it points to what I'm trying to say about the partnership, the technology partnership. It shows two sides of things. Well, three really. It shows our international scope and our ability to work with people in different languages, in different time zones, and different business cultures, and support them to a degree that they're extremely happy. It shows our ability to keep these relationships going for a long time, to be successful and to continue to refresh. So we have this installed base. We continue to expand as the customer expands, but we also continue to refresh and backfill. So this is a critical part of our business, and it's a project we're very proud of, and we've done in other countries as well. So just moving on a little bit, some of the others, just to give some color to what it is that we're talking about when we say vague things like digital cinema and digital signage. Digital cinema is it's a revolution that's happened over the last 15 years, 20 years. You probably all have lived through it to one degree or another. We were part of the very first tests ever to do any digital cinema distribution, and we helped provide the first networks anywhere in the world for digital cinema. We've been involved in this for a long time with an installed base around North America, Latin America, Europe, And we also were very pleased that this year we're installing a new digital cinema network in, I'll call it the Australasia region, the Asian region, which is an important, a very important market that has not been completely saturated yet. And so we're excited about that. We're bringing new product, new way of doing this, more efficient and more cost effective. And it's good to see that this market continues to chug along. I mentioned digital cinema because I think it's a good description of where our competencies come in. So if you think about it, if you remember, you used to go to the movies and it was a 35mm film on reels that would be you know, shipped by DHL or FedEx or something physically. The prints would be made and they would be physically distributed to traditional shipping. This is an application perfectly made for satellite. Satellite, you can send one to many at a fixed cost, at a fixed distribution cost. So you could scale how many you were sending it out to without adding charges. So if a film opened big and needed a bunch more copies out in the field, you could immediately send it out there. If a film tanked, you weren't invested in all of this physical infrastructure that you had caused to be created, the duplication of 35mm films. What we do is we manage the sending, the addressing, the protection of the content, and the delivery of essentially giant files. They're called DCPs, digital cinema packages. And it's a package of files, and it'll include the movie broken down into acts. It'll have different soundtracks for different markets. It can have subtitles. It'll have the decryption keys. It'll have sometimes other information. It all gets put together depending on the film and the density and complexity and length. It can be up to 500 gigs. If you think about that, a 500 gig file, it's pretty, massive amount of data transfer. So that's the experience that we have on the digital cinema side. And we can do that all down to, we can send little scraps of information for, weather and other data applications. So that's kind of on the high end and the big side. One of our newer customers that we're sending, a new application for us is sending out blockchain data. So little bits of data, but sending it out over satellite so that it doesn't go over the internet for security reasons. This is the core technology, and it's understanding how it's used and how it's applied, and then taking our technology and specifying it for that market is where we really shine. I want to mention digital signage as well, because that's a long time good lucrative market for us. We have a couple of niches where we're strong. So Bank of America's digital signage infrastructure in North America runs on our platform, runs on our products. We have several large banking networks in Latin America, a couple of fast food networks in Latin America again. And in North America, we've got a nice niche in the health and wellness area, delivering to premises of service providers, so chiropractors' offices, for example. Am I missing anything here, Harris? Can I keep going? All right, I'm gonna just go on to the next one. So meeting our needs in a changing world. The world is changing how it delivers data, and we're changing with it. So we've launched, we have a number of ways that we're changing, but we've launched a new flexible hardware platform to let us be more flexible. So it's software driven. It's essentially what we're doing is we have a common platform, and then we customize it for various vertical markets. This is a more efficient way for us to do manufacturing. It's more sustainable for the life cycle. It's easier for the customer to make gradual improvements, to have upgrades during the life of the equipment. And it's more cost effective for the customers above all, but also for us. So that's thing number one. We spent the pandemic driving product innovation. We didn't just curl up. We didn't, shut down. We didn't lay off. We spent the time working hard while business was slow, working on product innovation. And we rolled out 3 new product lines. And we also kicked off 2 new R&D efforts, projects that we're quite excited about. We've embraced change, and we're always looking at next generation technologies. So right now, that means ATSC.3.0. That's something we're very interested in. DVB-S2X has been around for a while. SMPTE 2022. This is name dropping. If anybody's interested in more detail, I can provide it. But the thing that these all have in common is finding better, more efficient ways to enable the delivery of content. Plus, we have launched a product platform to enable delivery via satellite and or internet seamlessly. So we don't treat this internet as a competitor or as a competing technology. We treat everything as IP. It's IP, and we want to find the most efficient way to get your data where it needs to be. Just quickly, we do a lot of products, and I could really talk products a lot. If anybody's interested, I can be happy to drill in more on the specific things that we do. But what we're showing here is a couple of things. The platform that I mentioned, the new platform, it's the MAP platform. That stands for Modular Architecture Platform. So it's the platform. It's our next generation that shares that common platform base, as I said, and common components, but we'll put in a different board, for example, for video decoding, or we'll put in a different board for types of audio decoding, or we'll put in a different, or take things out to value engineer it for a pure data play, or for digital cinema, we'll put in a particular set of software. So this is a core set of components, and we're very excited about this approach. We also have legacy products from all 3 companies that we continue to integrate. We're doing next generations that have more common features together and more common capabilities together. We make satellite receivers and IP encapsulators and a number of other elements for the controlling and addressing of content, for the management and manipulation of content. And then finally, Mystique is our internet delivery platform. So it's essentially transparent to the user, and the idea is we're not the only ones that see these changes in the world. We're reflecting what's going on in the industry. More and more, our customers are looking to use the internet to deliver their content if they can. And like I said, the internet as a broadcast, infrastructure is flawed. That's an understatement. With broadcast, timing is everything. You really have to have things precisely timed. Things have to happen in multiple places at the same time. They have to be super reliable. And there are mitigation strategies that we use to overcome the noise, the delay, the inconsistencies of the internet. So that's something that we've gotten very good at. What we're trying to do is help our customers that have to do an infrastructure refresh now, and they're teetering on internet versus satellite. We say, you can take this equipment and you can use it on either. So you can use satellite for now, and then when you're ready, migrate to internet. You can use satellite now and use internet as a backup. You can use internet now and use satellite as a backup, or you can just do either. So this is our effort to try to accommodate and adjust to how this whole environment is evolving. So that's basically where we're at. We continue to be very focused on profitability. I hope Paris will talk about that a little bit, but he is singularly focused on that and very, very careful with making sure that we don't go crazy and go off in any direction too wildly. Sustainability, extremely important, and innovation. At the end of the day, our company is very much driven by engineering and technology, and it shows in everything that we do. We're open to strategic investments and to doing further acquisitions to grow the company. But we've got some really good momentum right now with a few new major projects that we're in the process of announcing. And one that I should have mentioned under video, we just won a contract to provide encryption to a major television network for the Olympics. We'll be having, I hope, an announcement about that sometime in the next couple of days. But we've got, the wind is at our back. It's good. So with this momentum from new projects and successful product launches that we've done, we're pretty optimistic about our future.
That's great, Dana. Thank you so much. I'd love to jump in a couple questions that sort of surfaced as I was going through that. So obviously you have various products. Yep.
Before you go, can I just take 5 minutes? So
please. Yeah, go ahead.
Then we can talk about questions. And
absolutely.
Thanks, Diana. As you guys all realize, it's a high-level presentation. One of the things you have to understand is sometimes we are not allowed to disclose our clients. Our clients are all over the world, and a lot of times we are bound by confidentiality that we cannot disclose. So you can see, but Diana was trying to navigate slowly around this topic. Thank you, Diana.
Because I'm very aware that they'll call me up.
The summary about who we are is, you have to understand, the products that Diana talked about, we design and develop flexible solutions. And all the verticals that we're in, because a lot of times I always ask somebody, what business are you in? And if they go all over the map, then I say, you're not focused. But you got to think about the verticals that Diana talked about. All of them have a commonality. Our products, our technologies are interchangeable within those verticals. It's not like we're designing shoes and then bicycles and now airplanes. And okay, so we are focused on our technology, our core technology, and then we apply that technology into the vertical markets. So when IDC was purchased by Novra and the Wagner purchase of the 51% of Wagner, it was all made in looking at their core technologies, looking at their clients, looking at their footprint around the world. And I looked at that and I said, you know what? These are iconic companies. If you go back 10 years, 15 years ago, each one, IDC and Wagner, were both doing $20 to $30 million a year. Each one of those had over 135, over 100 people. But they lost their way. So I saw this as an opportunity to bring these companies, invest for the last 3 years, and create flexible technology. So you see, it's a well-focused strategy that I've taken. All of our products are in mission critical, as Diana indicated, applications. We don't sell to end users. We sell to somebody who is running a huge network with thousands of clients of their own. So them selecting us tells you how reliable and how much trust they add or they have in our technology. That's very important. That's very important. I'm not selling to somebody a $50 item or a $200 item or something that will go away in a few years from now. I'm selling something that will last for at least 10 years. We used to be in the video business, those two companies, they're not. Now we're focusing back. So flexible products, more capability in terms of reliability, more features, and it allows us to now go back to all these clients and allow them to upgrade. So really, that's the strategy that we have. COVID was a bump on the road, as all of us now experience. It had an impact on our clients, it had an impact on us, but during that time, we remained, last year, we didn't really have a disruption in our business. We had lower sales last year, but we're seeing it coming back. You saw, Diana will tell you that in the last quarter of last year of 2020 and into this first quarter and the second quarter, our sales are strong and our clients are now trusting us to get them into the next technology leap that they need to make. Our security, we hear about cybersecurity everywhere. Our products, you guys designed of us, we lock them down. We are very cautious of putting a product into somebody else's network and getting hacked. So we take precautions in that. As a matter of fact, Diana mentioned that one of our biggest clients is the defense, the U.S. defense. Well, they need things to be really reliable and shielded with a firewall that nobody can come in. So we do that. We do scans every 6 months for them. We make sure our product is reliable. I want to talk about a little more, but I don't want to now. Let me give a chance for people to ask questions. And one more thing, I have to tell you that please look at our MD&A, the Management Discussions Analysis on CEDAR. That is very important. That is the vision. You see in there, I try to give as much information of who we are and where we're going. That is very important for potential, current shareholders and potential shareholders. And with that, Paul, I will stop. And then, sorry, I didn't want to take too much, but I just wanted to just let you know that there is a vision. I have come from a company which is still in operation, which is a company I started in '92. It's called Infomagnetics. If you go to imt.ca, you'll see the business that originally started and created a spin-off. So Novra is the third spin-off of that company. So there's a little bit of background. And one more thing, again, I keep saying, I sound like Columbo now. One more thing I want to tell you that I believe in this vision. I believe in this vision that I have put my money into this vision. I don't get paid. You guys know, you look at my financials, for the last 15 years, I don't get paid. I believe in this vision. This isn't a job for me like most CEOs have a job. And tomorrow they go somewhere else and they say whatever they want to say today. This is not a job for me. This, for me, is a challenge because I see the vision. I see the pieces. I have great people. Diana is one of them. I have a number, everybody in this company are dedicated, and I am dedicated to a point where I say, I don't care about me. I care about my shareholder. I want to achieve the vision that I have, and that's really who I am.
Well, Harris, that's fantastic. That always helps shed a little bit more light, and I think you've summarized a number of things quite well. So some of the things that I recognize, and I think some of the questions in the chat function probably will mirror this, but you mentioned a lot of products. You guys offer different services, consulting services, engineering services. Give us a sense of sort of the breakdown of the revenue. Some of it sounded like some of it was in a recurring nature, but how do you basically sell and make money? What does that revenue composition look like?
Diana, you can take that.
Yeah, it varies because we're so project-oriented, large project-oriented. It's not consistent, but there are definitely patterns and trends. So these days, we are mostly products, then systems, and then service. So service is an important component. I would say on an annual basis, probably about 25% of the revenue. And then of the product revenue, overwhelmingly, it's broadcast right now. Radio more than video, but that is more of a function of our domination of that market niche and having some large networks as opposed to that being a large market. So it is we are a large fish in that very small pond, and then we are a small fish in a much larger pond on the video broadcast side.
Maybe give us
We're trying to increase that recurring revenue. And there's a number of ways of doing that. Now that we have technology, the next thing we may do end up and this is something that I'm thinking about, is maybe what we should do is, instead of selling hardware, is we actually sell capabilities. So where people don't buy, it's like, you know what? It's like your cell guys. The cell phone used to give you the phone, right? And you just pay recurring revenue. These are things that we look at, but we are not there yet. This is something that is on my horizon to look at. I may need to go and borrow more money in terms of investing in hardware so that I can, give it out as a service. So these are things that, right now I do think about.
Yeah, yeah. So Dana, you mentioned sort of a small fish in a big pond and a big fish in a small pond. Maybe give us a general sense of the total addressable market of the, the sectors you guys are in.
I have a report that has numbers. I'd hate to throw out the numbers because, it could be out by a large factor. But if you think about it, radio broadcasting is a, stable. It's a mandatory thing. Every country has radio broadcasting. Every country has national radio broadcasters. So it's a fairly sizable, for a company of our size and scope, it's a fairly sizable market, but it's not a growth market. People are not making a lot of new radio networks. That is not, what's going on in the world. They're tending to consolidate and look for cost-cutting measures. And fortunately, we have technology that can help them reduce operating costs and generate new revenue. So, as far as that goes, it's still a good market for us, but it's not a huge market. I don't want to throw out a number, but it's not a huge market. One of the questions I see in the chat, which I'll jump in and take the prerogative to answer, which vertical market offers the biggest growth opportunity for Novra in the near and midterm? Hands down, it's video. I think that's just true of everybody. You know this from from our lives, right? Over the last year, video is definitely a high growth space, a very important high growth space. I think though that there are going to be more things like blockchain that pop up and surprise us. The world's using more data and they're using it more creatively, not less. So I think there still could be things that surprise us out there, but absolutely video is the biggest growth opportunity for us.
And it gives us a sense of the competitive landscape. Who do you guys usually fight up against, and how do you differentiate yourself from some of the other, I imagine, some big players that are out there?
So it's a good question, and it's a great softball setup for me to, or I guess volleyball setup for me to reiterate an important point about diversification. We don't have any company that we compete with in all of our verticals. We have companies we compete with within verticals. So, and within that, more than companies doing exactly what we do, are more significant competition in most of the markets is just completely different approaches to doing it, different ways of doing it. So for example, where we used to do a broadcast communications network for corporate communications, YouTube will let you do that for free now. So YouTube competes with our, some of our longtime customers that, have been using satellite, specialized satellite dedicated networks. And now they just got a YouTube channel. Somebody comes in that's under 30, in their technology group is like, why are we paying for this? So, that is an important competitor. So, YouTube competes over here, whereas over there, it might be, again, the internet, et cetera. Specifically companies, we have seen many competitors come and go and come. We have there's a company out of Germany, a small company in Germany, and a company, I'm not sure how it's doing in the US, that are in the radio space with us. But it's again, it's very small, and neither of these companies is diversified. So when there's a drought, when you go through, one tends to focus more on small companies, and they plug along, they chug along. this other company, it'll do a great big project, and then it's feast or famine, and they don't have a way to survive famine. So they tend to reinvent themselves, close down, reopen with a different name, sell off, etc. So, you know, they eat into our market. Absolutely, they eat into our market. They're a competitor, but it's a different kind of company. Same in digital cinema. We have one major competitor in digital cinema, and it's feast or famine. They have a couple of other vertical markets they're in that we aren't. And they've had a bad run of luck with, you know, to be in digital cinema and in-flight, in-flight connectivity. They've had a bad year. You know,
Sure, yeah.
those are two terrible markets.
Yeah.
And, you know, we did okay. We survived. You know, it's, like I said, people stopped going to the movies, but people watched a lot more TV. So we continue to have good business.
Gotcha.
Does that answer
Gotcha.
that? Did I answer that?
Yeah, no,
clearly?
absolutely. You know,
Oh, and we do compete with some in the video space,
Yeah.
but that's, you know, the video space. I just want to speak to where we have a competitive advantage. You mentioned competitive advantages. What do we have? The diversification absolutely is a competitive advantage, because we say we can, you know, we're sustainable. We have sustainability. And again, you know, the IDC, when the company narrowed its focus to one, you know, to one vertical market, couldn't sustain the problems that when they ran into problems didn't have the basis. So our competitive advantages really are the ability to do business anywhere. You know, we have such a strong network of value-added resellers and partners that we've worked with for years, and we have boots on the ground everywhere that way. So that's been a huge advantage to us to be able to do that. And then also, I got to say, we have a culture of tenacity, and you know, we never let it go. We take care of people, we solve the problems, and we make it work. We're not great on the marketing side, as I'm in charge of marketing, but you know, we're not great on that kind of the glitz and the branding and the whatever. But where we really shine is just that taking care of customers for a long time and doing what they need. One of the projects we won this year that we're working our hearts out to overcome parts shortages and delivery challenges and all of the stuff going on in the industry. We have a company that we work with that has a paging, their paging hardware. It's a paging company. The equipment that they used was obsolete. They had no way to upgrade or replace them, and we took core technology we had, we custom engineered it, developed a product for them in order to retrofit their in place, you know, the extensive paging network that they have in place that, you know, they can't swap out.
Wow. Why don't we talk a little bit more about, well, a couple questions around just the balance sheet, I guess, financials, and then a little bit about the stock. You mentioned cash. How much cash do you have as of the last quarter?
I believe it was 3.7 million was cash.
And any debt? Any debt to speak of?
No, not really. If you look at our debt, I mean, we have a line for about $750,000 or $800,000. We've never been in it. We've been in that line for many years. We never have taken a dollar out of it. Okay. Yeah, so the debt that you see are either one debt that comes in from Wagner, because we consolidate Wagner statements. So all of it will be either Wagner, or it'll be money that I borrowed to buy IDC at the time from the company I mentioned earlier, which is Infomagnetics, the INT. That's it. So there is no, you know, there's no bonds that are issued that are coming due. There's no debt from a bank or any financial institution. There's no debt other than one individual and INT. Gotcha.
So a couple of questions around the shareholders. You're a significant shareholder. Maybe give us a sense of what the insider ownership looks like, and maybe any other significant holders of stock right now. 35 million shares roughly outstanding.
Originally, we started with about 22 million. The reason we went to 35 is because when we purchased IDC, about 12 to 13 million, somewhere around there. I don't have the exact number.
Mhm.
Was issued to the IDC shareholders. There's really, and that's really where this comes from. When we started Novra, at the time the shares were 22 million. We have never raised, in the existence of Novra, after we launched, we never have gone out and, let's say the last 15 years, we have never gone out and raised any capital. So therefore, we've never really had to issue any shares. So the number of shares is stable for us. Now, one thing, one of the questions I saw is, what about Wagner, and how are we going to finance it, and when you're going to do it? If I may answer that question for a minute, Paul.
Sure, yeah.
Wagner, the deal to buy Wagner was made, and it was made back in 2017, December. That deal was made, and how much I'm going to pay for the 49% of Wagner is already something that's made, approved, and we announced it. You'll see it. It's out there. We announced it in December, and it's in Cedar for us. And at that time, the deal was that we transferred 2 million Novra shares into Wagner, so that those shares would go to the Wagner shareholders, not us, because we also now own 51%. So the non-Novra shareholders would get the 2 million Novra shares, plus there was a cash at that time, I believe, of 300,000. So buying the remainder Wagner is a done deal, and the numbers are very simple. It's only $300,000, and that's it, and 2 million shares. We may offer Novra shares instead of 300,000, but right now that's the deal. Deal approved. So again, well structured, know what it is, and that's simple.
Okay.
Hopefully I answered that question.
Yeah, that's but as far as the insider, let's call it management, what percentage ownership of the overall company right now is owned by insiders?
Right. It's somewhere around 30%.
30%. Okay. Gotcha. Now, you earlier talked about potentially some other M&A, some other acquisitions. Just give us a general sense of what are you looking for? Are you looking for sort of existing relationships? Somebody might have contracts with customers, or are you really looking for new technology that you might be able to sort of upsell to your existing customers? Give us a sense.
I'm looking for, to tell you the truth, Paul, I'm looking for both. As you know, we have to understand the environment. In the last 10 years, there has been a lot of turmoil. Look at the cable guys, look at the broadcasters, radio guys, they all have issues. And as this turmoil is unfolding, opportunities come for people like us. But at the same time, we also have other companies servicing those sectors or those verticals that are in trouble. So just like IDC and Wagner, and there's at least a couple more that I know of, that they have clients, they're good companies, they have clients, but they lost weight because, as Diana indicated earlier, some companies only have one trick pony show, as they call it, if I pronounce it right. So whenever they run into trouble, they get them down to their knees. So there's opportunities out there to pick up companies with good clients and technology, and maybe that technology is not as current, but the clients and their needs and their infrastructure renewal needs of those clients is valid, is real, it's there. That's one thing. There's other companies, there's a couple of companies I'm looking at that actually have some interesting niche technology that will complement ours. So to summarize, I'm looking for companies that have great clients, but they have run into trouble, or other companies that have a niche market that complements ours. I'm trying to create a solution company. You see, when somebody wants to do right now, if somebody wants to do satellite transmission, they need equipment in the uplink station. In the main uplink, satellite uplink. Well, we have that technology. Then they need software to manage what they're pushing out, their files, to push them out, to time shift them, to do whatever. We have that technology. And we also have the technology on the receiving end. So we have it from the uplink, the actual transmission, and the receiving. And with Mystique, it now allows you to actually do your transmission, satellite or broadband, or a hybrid, whichever is available at the time. So I'm looking for that. I'm looking for not selling just one thing. I'm not looking to sell only shoes, but I like to sell also the socks, right? I like to sell the pants. So I'm looking to become a solution. So our clients look at us as a partner rather than saying, Paul, somebody comes to you and says, you know what? I can buy this mouse for $5 less. But it isn't just the mouse that you need. I'm trying to give you the computer, the keyboard, the mouse, the wireless headsets. So we're trying to create a company that has flexible products. And that's what MAP is all about. MAP is a product that we started after IDC came on board, and I said, we need to create a product based on a very flexible architecture, so that if a client needs this capabilities, I can put in the right board. I don't have to go to my client 2 years from now where he says, I've been doing something with satellite, but now I want to go ATSC, which is a new standard that people are, or sell. I don't want to say to him, throw your equipment away, I'm going to sell you new one. I want to be able to go to him and say, you know what? Let me sell you a piece that plugs into your existing product that you bought from me 2 years ago or 3 years ago. That creates a very safe decision-making for our clients, because they're also, they see all these things coming down, all these new technologies coming down. And they're saying, maybe I should wait another year. Maybe a new technology will come out. Maybe I should go this way. They're all struggling to figure out what to implement next to provide the service in a cost-effective manner. I like to go to them and say, you know what, buy my product. And if your requirements change, the product that you buy from me is flexible. We can actually upgrade it, either in the field or you send it back and we'll upgrade and send it back. We want to be able to protect our clients' investment. Because these guys are buying millions of dollars worth of stuff. It isn't $50. It's not $100 item.
And that's the competitive advantage too.
That's our competitive advantage.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it sounds like you're yeah.
And for all the people that are watching this, it's very important. What is we don't want to compete with the Chinese. They can make products cheaper, but they only sell you. But try to get some service from them. Try to get, pick up a phone and try it. When you're running a business and your family's mortgage payments and the food for your children are based on the service you are providing, then you want to buy from somebody who's going to be there, first of all, but more of the pieces he can give you, more of a solution he can give you, it's better for you because there's no finger pointing. Something doesn't work. Well, it's not the mouse. Maybe it's something else you're using, right? But if you buy, so that's a strategy. And Diana has done a great job. That's our competitive advantage. We don't sell one item. We are multiple verticals, and we sell you our engineering. There's 40 people. You can pick up the phone and call 24. We run a 24-hour, 7-day.
Don't call engineering. Call.
So
call support. Call professional services. They'll get you an engineer.
So the takeaway I get here, what you guys are trying to be is you're a one-stop shop for really mission critical services or delivery of mission critical service and products for your customers. So you know, clearly a customer has an advantage going to one spot and point the finger, like you said, at somebody. If there's a problem, they know who to point the finger at and say, okay, we need something resolved here, and you guys would be able to cover that. I'm going to take, it's basically a statement from Jerry, who knows your business very well. But it says Novra is trading at a very low market cap compared to its sales and profitability. What do you think potential investors should focus on to determine Novra's future success, and why should they buy the stock today?
Well, maybe this is really Harris's area, but if I could just jump in and say, I think we spent a lot of time on the spaces that we're in, on the things that we're enabling in the market. And so just from a common sense point of view of having our eyes on the future and the things that are growing and the needs that people are going to be having, the growth parts of our industry, I think that's the most exciting thing, honestly, the most compelling thing. So it's, you know, we're a bargain. So it's a bargain to get into a space that's high growth and quite exciting.
If I may add to that,
please, yeah.
What I'd like to add to that, and Jerry, thanks for the question. It's a very important question to me. Up to now, we've been focused mostly in the acquisitions, bringing the companies together and creating the platform, the technology base, let's say, to now launch. If you want to invest by buying our shares, if you want to invest in us, you have to look at, you know, and by the way, I always say to people, after I do a presentation, I always say, I've been bullshitting, okay? Don't listen to what I say. And I always put up behind on the overhead, I put the logos of the companies that buy from us, okay? This is very important. Who we are, don't look at us, look right behind us and look who buys from us. Who buys from us? And what verticals are we in, and who buys, and what operations are doing. So that's very important. So if you're going to invest in something like Novra, you're going to look, understand our history, our technology, our clients, our global footprints, and say, why aren't the stock is higher? Well, because until now, rightly or wrongly, it's all me, I'm to blame. I always believe that I don't want to sound like CEOs that we hear all of our lives. They're waving their hands. They're going to do this. We're going to do this. We are going, they always talk about tomorrow. I believe that if you're going to know where tomorrow is going to take you, you better understand where you are today. And to me, I was never in a position in the last few years to go and wave my hands. I was very, very focused in getting the integration done of those companies, getting the deal with Wagner done, getting my technology, my people, focus the company, get it ready to grow, get it ready to go after new verticals, go after new clients, change maybe some of the way we generate revenue, as we said earlier. So until now, we have no IR done. You don't see us jumping up and down. We don't. This is the first time I'm doing this session that you're seeing today. First time. Never before have I done that. Why am I doing it today? I'm doing it today because when Trevor contacted me and you, Paul, I thought this is the right time. It's all about timing. So yes, our stock, it doesn't really, in my opinion, it does not reflect the value of this company. It doesn't. But at the same time, I wasn't going to 3 years ago go and wave my hands all what we're doing. Maybe that's wrong, but I'd rather be conservative. And if there's going to be any surprises, I'd rather have the surprises where I surprise my shareholders with good news than bad news.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay? So my fault for not waving my hands a few years ago.
It's always prudent to build the business first and worry about the stock second. So
Exactly.
I don't think you've done anything wrong on that side. Listen, we've run out of time, unfortunately, but this has been great. We haven't had we've had a great chance to understand what you guys are all about, and certainly the passion that you guys bring to the business, I think, is very important. Is there, in 60 seconds or so, is there any other takeaways or any key parting message that you guys want to leave our audience with today?
I just want to say thank you to all of you. Thank you to all the audience. I appreciate every one of you. Whether you're my shareholder or maybe a potential shareholder, I want you to know that I'm focused. We care about shareholders. We absolutely do, and I appreciate everything you guys have done today. Put this thing together today, and I appreciate it very much, Paul and Trevor, and also Jerry was very helpful in introducing us to you guys. I appreciate it very much, and thank you. And keep looking at us over the next little while. You'll see we have challenges this year with supply chains. Mm-hmm. We're all dealing with that, but hopefully, as things go by next year, things will get a little bit more back to normal. But keep your eyes on us, okay? That's
perfect. All. We will, and we always are thankful that Jerry points us in the direction of interesting companies that are worthwhile listening to. So we thank Jerry as well. If somebody wants more information, what's your website address?
It's www.novragroup.com.
Novragroup.com. Perfect.
Yeah, and that's more like investments and mm-hmm. press release, et cetera, but it links to all of the individual companies and the technology and projects and stuff.
That's perfect.
In case you have any sales leads for us.
Yeah, you go in there and then you can see the other 3 companies underneath, and you click and you go into them and see the products and everything else.
Fantastic. Well, it's great. We've been speaking with Diana Cantu and Harris Liontas. I want to thank you both for joining us today, and we look forward to keeping updated and seeing how you guys do in the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, and hopefully we'll do it again soon.
We'll look forward to it.
Okay, thank you. Bye.